Okay, so the incredible leaks and try to build a really clear picture of what Apple's next flagship phone might actually look like. Yeah, we're going to try and build a whole story around these rumored upgrades. We'll cover pretty much everything, from the stuff you'll see on the outside to the incredible power that's expected to be hiding deep inside. All right, first things first. The question on everyone's mind is always, what's this new iPhone going to look like? And for the iPhone 18 Pro, the biggest debate is happening right there at the very top of the screen. For a hot minute there, it really seemed like the answer was going to be yes. Some of those early, really exciting leaks suggested Apple was finally going to get rid of the dynamic island completely and just give us a simple, clean, hole-punch camera. The idea was to move all the Face ID stuff under the display. But, as it often happens, the stories evolved a bit. That initial excitement for a total removal
with pre-order starting soon after.
has been kind of dialed back by a more realistic consensus from the big analysts. It's now looking like the dynamic island isn't disappearing, it's just shrinking. So what does that actually mean for you and me? Well, according to the leakers, we're looking at a cutout that's about 35% narrower. You could see it as a compromise, sure, but it's a smart one. It keeps all the functionality we're used to while giving us back some of that precious screen real estate. Okay, so now let's move from what we can see on the outside to the invisible engine that's going to drive this whole experience. The brand new A-series chip. At the heart of the new iPhone, we're expecting A20 Pro Chip. Now, the huge story here is that it's supposedly being generation 2 nanometer process. That sounds super technical, I know, but in simple terms, it just means you can cram way more power into a smaller space. It's a massive leap in chip design. And what does that mean? Well, this huge jump in technology is expected to give us a performance boost of up to 15% over the last generation. Everything's just going to feel faster, snappier, more responsive. But look, while speed is always great, this is the real game changer right here. A 30% improvement in energy efficiency. And that has a massive, massive impact on what is arguably the most important feature for any of us using a smartphone. Yep, you guessed it. That incredible efficiency gain we're getting from the A20 Pro chip translates directly into what might be the holy grail of upgrades: significantly longer battery life. Now, you might think to get that significantly longer battery life. They'd just have to shove a giant battery in there. But look at this. The leaks suggest a surprisingly small increase, maybe only 2 to 3% in the actual physical battery size. So, how in the world are they planning to pull off such a big jump in endurance? Well, this is the secret sauce. The big battery gains aren't coming from a bigger, heavier battery. They're coming from that A20 chip and a new, super efficient cellular modem working smarter, not just harder. It's all about that smart engineering. And the result of all that smart engineering? A rumored 40+ hours of continuous use. For a lot of people, that means true 2-day battery life isn't just some marketing line anymore. It could actually become a realistic, everyday possibility. And all that extra battery life, what else can we expect? Of course, it just wouldn't be a Pro iPhone without a camera upgrade. And for photographers and creators, it looks like the rumored changes are all about giving us more. Big headline feature here is a mechanical variable aperture. This would let you physically control how much light hits the sensor, giving you amazing control over depth of field, just like you'd get a dedicated camera. And that's on top of major sensor and telephoto upgrades. And hey, even a nice bump for the front-facing camera. But hold on, the biggest story of 2026 might not even be the iPhone. The biggest story of 2026 might not even Pro. The leaks are getting really loud, suggesting that an entirely new and highly anticipated device is going to launch right alongside it. That's right. After years and years of speculation, patents, and rumors, multiple reports are now pointing to Apple finally entering the foldable market with a device that could be called the iPhone Fold. So what are we looking at? It's rumored to be a premium book-style foldable with a big inner screen. Word on the street is that Apple is absolutely obsessed with creating a clay. It's expected to be powered by the very same A20 chip as the Pro models. And, interestingly, it might use Touch ID instead of Face ID to save space. It is a lot of exciting new technology. So let's bring all this back down to earth for a second. When can you actually get these devices? What are they going to look like? And of course, what are they going to cost? So this is actually a pretty major shift. Apple is expected to change up its whole release strategy. Reports suggest they'll launch the high-end Pro and the new Fold models in the fall of 2026, and then follow that up with the standard iPhone 18 and 18e models the next spring. And for colors, well, Apple is reportedly testing 3 new, pretty distinct options for the Pro line: a deep burgundy, a brown, and a purple. But the leaks are very clear on this. Don't get too attached to all of them, because only one is likely to make the final cut as the special color of the year. And now, the big one. While the iPhone 18 Pro's price is expected to be pretty much in line with what we've seen before, that new foldable technology, yeah, that's going to come with a significantly higher price tag. It could potentially cost almost twice as much as the standard Pro. So to kind of sum it all up, we're really looking at 2 huge things here. First, a highly refined iPhone 18 Pro that's really focused on efficiency and meaningful upgrades. And second, the introduction of a completely game-changing new form factor with the iPhone Fold. And this really leaves us with a final and pretty fascinating thought. With these 2 very different paths emerging, the perfected traditional smartphone and the brand new foldable, Apple is basically forcing us all to ask, what does the future of the iPhone really look like?